All right, welcome back. Let's continue to look at other news now. Defence lawyers for two of the accused in the Joshlin Smith kidnapping trial have closed their final arguments, insisting that the state's case is riddled with speculation and poor police investigation. The trial, which has gripped the nation for more than 8 weeks, is nearing conclusion, with judgment expected to be delivered on Friday by Judge President Nathan Erasmus. The trial involves Joshlin's mother, Kelly Smith, her boyfriend, Jacquen Appollis, and family friend, Steveno van Rhyn. All three have pleaded not guilty to charges of kidnapping and human trafficking in connection with the February 2024 disappearance of then 6-year-old Joshlin Smith from Saldanha. Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi filed this report.
The end is in sight for the trial looking into Joshlin Smith's disappearance as the defense concluded their closing arguments. They argued that the state's case is built on speculation and shaky grounds due to what they deem as fundamentally flawed police investigation.
When the news about Joshlin's disappearance broke, the whole country came to a standstill. Not only South Africa, my lord, even the global village. But the unfortunate part in this matter is that the investigation didn't do justice in this matter. Mostly, my lord, poor investigations, they have a tendency of leading to unlawful arrest resulting to malicious prosecutions. There's no evidence before this court that my client, Mr. Van Rhyn, did unlawfully and intentionally deprive Joshlin of her freedom of movement. There is no evidence before this court that my client, Mr. Van Rhyn, delivered Joshlin to anyone for any amount. My learned colleagues were noticing that they failed to discharge the honors. They are pleading with this court to convict Mr. Van Rhyn on speculation. Speculation drawn from the evidence of a 204.
That sentiment was echoed by Kelly Smith's lawyer, who took aim at key state witness Laurentia Lombard. Once a friend and co-accused, Lombard turned state witness and claimed Smith was central to a plan to sell her daughter, but the defense pointed out inconsistencies in her statements and questioned her credibility.
One could almost say she's an opportunist. My lord, as correctly mentioned by the court, she was able to sustain and support her children through the assistance of Ms. Smith, and she took advantage of that. According to her version, she was promised money by Ms. Smith. She submitted to this court that when she was told about money, she agreed, and she was happy with that. Again, my lord, she was going to gain from this, so she had no issue with it. She stuck to her version to keep quiet, according to her, because the money was still promised to her. When she realized now she's in hot water, the money is not forthcoming, and there's a very good likelihood she's going to prison, she decides to turn. She throws her friend under the bus. There were many contradictions in her evidence, material contradictions. And because she's a single witness, only one material contradiction is sufficient for the court to reject her evidence as false.
Another witness under scrutiny was Stephen Coetzee. He claimed he learned of the plan to sell Joshlin back in August 2023, months before her disappearance. The defense said his testimony didn't match his written statement. The defense emphasized the existence of two contradictory versions presented by the state, Lombard's 204 statement and separate statements from a trial within a trial involving Appollis and Van Rhyn.
The state is asking us to accept the version of Ms. Laurentia Lombard as that of being the truth. But we still have the evidence of Mr. Appollis. Now, as we stand, there are two conflicting or mutually destructive versions which are before this court, and both these versions were placed before this court by the state. Now, being faced with two conflicting versions, that on its own is a clear indication that the state has failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Because immediately the question arises, if we have to say they are guilty, guilty of what, my lord? That accused number 3 took the Joshlin to the car, or did accused number 1 take Joshlin to Makalima?
The state has stood by its case, maintaining the strength of its investigation.
I have made our submissions that Miss Lombard, yes, I concede, she wasn't the best witness. When one applies the test, as in the Mpeta case, then that evidence must be so bad that no reasonable court can believe it. And my submission is, that's not the case here. Not at all. Because we are not solely relying only on her evidence. We find the corroboration for her version in all of the other evidence. My argument is, my lord, there's absolutely no way that he would want to put himself in this position and come and testify about this. Why? There's just absolutely no ground for an argument that that was a fabrication and seek of fame. The person seeking the fame was Miss Smith, definitely not Mr. Kutsia.
But the defense remains firm that the case is built entirely on circumstantial evidence. Now, all eyes turn to Judge Nathan Erasmus, who is expected to hand down judgment on Friday. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nasiphi in Saldanha.